I'm giving you 5 tips on how to deal with anxiety. For those who don't know me, I'm Kim. I help female entrepreneurs to overcome anxiety in 21 days. So let's get into it. So, the first step to deal with anxiety is questioning your thought patterns. Your thoughts are always creating your feelings. Whether we're consciously aware of this, there's always the thought pattern and that elicits the feeling. And sometimes this happens faster than we're able to notice it. But when you start training your brain to notice that the thoughts that you're thinking, how are they making you feel? Are they making you feel better or are they making you feel worse? And if they're making you feel worse, start diving into those thought patterns and like analyzing, is this ultimately true? Is this really what's going on right now? Is this thought true for everyone? Is this belief true for everyone? Most of the time it's not. So in that moment, instead of trying to go from like 0 to 100, with your feelings, be like, okay, what's the next better feeling thought that I could think? Like, okay, if the thought that I'm thinking, what if that wasn't true? And if that wasn't true, what might be happening instead? Say it's like someone doesn't respond to your text message and you've created this whole story about how they hate you, they never want to talk to you again, they're super mad at you. And instead, maybe they like simply left their phone at home, or maybe they're really busy and they're having a crazy day and they're not able to talk to you. It doesn't mean that they don't like you. So taking a second to have like that self-inquiry and be like, okay, is this thought ultimately true, can be really helpful to journal this. Sometimes when we have this just going around in our head, we're not able to really gain that clarity. But a really helpful practice is just like journaling it out, looking at the thoughts, being like, is this ultimately true? No. Okay, here's what I'm choosing to believe instead. And just having that constant practice of shifting what you're believing. And eventually those new beliefs will feel a lot more easy to adopt. It might feel weird at first, but nothing feels natural the first time you do it. Like the first time you walked, it didn't feel natural. So it's the same with changing your thinking. The next one is doing breath work. So when we say breath work, there's a lot of different things that could mean. That could be anything from like simple box breathing, like breathing in for 4, out for 4, holding for 4 in the middle. Or you could do like holotropic breath work, which is basically like controlled hyperventilation, and you do this with like a practitioner, or like there's lots of workshops online that you can do if there's no one in your area. And so basically you're over oxygenating your body, and this allows you to release trauma that's stored in your body and just kind of like shifts that stuck stagnant energy. And it's a super powerful practice. Like I have had some of the craziest releases I've ever had in my life just from doing breath work, and it's a really amazing like emotional reset button. There's lots of videos on the internet, so have a quick Google and see what you can find. And also it helps like strengthen your nervous system so that you're better at dealing with new stress when those new stressful situations come along. Third one is using aromatherapy. Essential oils such as lavender are super helpful for calming your mood. There's, I guess, people are kind of in two minds about this, but I found them super helpful. Like you can just use lavender, you can put it on your wrist, or you can smell it for a little bit, and it goes a long way to helping you calm down and relax. And then the fourth one is starting to identify your triggers. Like what are the things that sets off the anxiety? And then thinking about those situations, noticing them in the moment when you're having them, and thinking back to like, okay, when was the first time I felt this way? What was going on then? What did I need from that moment that I wasn't able to get? How can I give that to myself now? Your body is always reacting to the things that happened in the past, not the actual present moment. It like takes the present moment and checks it against things that happened to you in the past to see how you reacted to them, to see if it's a threat for you. And if it has like a negative emotional charge around those memories from the past, it's going to be applying those to the present moment, even though the present moment isn't the same as the past. So you're basically reacting to your past instead of what's happening in the present moment, which is why it's so important to do the internal work and get clear on like, okay, what did I need from that moment before? How can I give it to myself now? How can I show myself like that's no longer me? I'm in a different situation. Like that was the past. We're living in the present. It can be helpful to do this with a therapist, obviously. Sometimes, depending on what the things are going on, it can be a lot to deal with. So I recommend getting help in the appropriate way for you. And the fifth one is doing the subconscious work, like rapid transformational therapy, which is what I use, allows you to access the part of your mind that you're not consciously aware of, but is still fully running the show. Most of us don't realize that we think that we're going around our day, like reacting to things from like a conscious space, but we're really not. It's our subconscious that's doing it. So you need to get into the subconscious to understand why it's doing the things that it's doing. And with most of my clients, that's how we're able to get rid of anxiety in one session. We show them like why those beliefs aren't true anymore. We install that sense of safety and security, and then we create the new beliefs that allow them to live an empowered life free from anxiety in just one session. So if you're interested in knowing more about that, you can hop on the link below and book in a free strategy call, and we can chat about how I can help you overcome your anxiety in 21 days. So I hope this is helpful for you, and I will be back soon to share more tips with you.